to explore what I call soul licks, or R&B, some people call it. You know, I'm talking about some people call it Neo Soul too, because now we're having a resurgence of it. But if you like stuff like anything from the late 60s, 70s, Memphis sound, all the way up to D'Angelo and some of the more modern people that you hear on the radio now or elsewhere. This is some cool little, I'm basically sliding my fourths. And this is a really simple way to get that really cool sound that you hear a lot in both soul and R&B, which is literally one and the same. So in this particular lesson, I wanted to sort of dissect what I'm doing there and hopefully give you some tools to use. So I'm playing, I'm actually doing I got a little loop here I'm doing, and I'm doing an F major seventh. So if you don't know that, it looks like this. That's a simple way. I've got some tremolo on. And it's just like an F chord, except you're opening up, I'm doing a partial here. And I'm opening up that E string. So instead of, it's the sound of a F major seventh, and then a C major seventh, just like a C, but lift up your first finger. Okay? So those are the two chords that I'm primarily using here. However, I do use a second inversion, which I'll show you, which sounds like this. Now this is not that hard to do. It looks like you're making an A minor chord. Okay, if you like go 7, and then 5, 5, 5 on the G and the B and the E. So 7 on the D string, and then 5 on the G, the B, and the E string. And then you'll take your pinky and slide up. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's in the 8th fret of the A string. And it's a pretty cool inversion. If you don't know it, you should. So that's what it looks like. And then instead of doing this C major seventh, which is really easy, we do this one. So you can see what I'm doing there. I basically got, it's like a power chord, except I'm flattening this note to here. So it sounds like this. So I'm barring here, okay? And then on the 4th fret of the D string, I've got my 3rd finger. And on the, 5th fret of the D string. On the 4th fret of the D string, I have my 2nd finger. I got my pinky picking up the 5th fret of the B string. And then that bar goes across on the 3rd fret, so it sounds like this. So basically, I've shown you a couple ways to do the same chords. The first one is this. If you want a bar, you can. More difficult, but. And then you want to make that a full chord, you can put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E. But for our purposes today, we can just do a partial. More treble. Yeah, and then C major 7th. You'll hear this a lot in soul and R&B. Then our second inversion, as I just showed you. Okay? Back to the C major 7th. So when I wanted to give you those chords so you know what I'm playing during the little sequence the little loop that I'm gonna play for you. I've got a little tremolo on. I'm playing through my Magnatone and I'm playing my Strat here, one of my Strats, and it's the next one, Anderson Strat. And it's got that great sound, you know, that great R&B sound, which I love very much. So the first thing I'm going to show you is on the 8th fret. So you're sliding from the 8th to the 10th. So you got, and you can see that's, if you play a C chord, it's an easy way to identify it. There's your C chord, even though we're playing a major 7th. So if you just go from your 8th to your 10th fret and just bar these two like this, pretty simple, right? Like you're making a C chord, Chuck Berry, and just slide up. So you just hit it once and then slide up and back. So that's the sound. So you do that on the and then go down to the 3rd and 5th fret. Okay, that's what I'm gonna basically accent those two licks today in this lesson, because I think it's important to take it piecemeal, because otherwise it gets a little bit overwhelming sometimes. I'm going to do a bunch of these because I think this is primarily is a double stop of sorts. Okay, now watch how I utilize that in the loop. Slow. So you've heard that before. I'm going to the F there, and then the C, and squeeze them. Then you can pick them one at a time. So that's, I just want to take apart what I did there for the purpose of such a simple thing that you can get a lot of mileage out of. So if you're playing with somebody that's playing just the, you know, the 4-1-4-1, it's an F major 7th to a C major 7th, which you hear a lot. I'm actually going to hear a guy that does that tonight, John Cleary from New Orleans. That's a whole other story. So once again, you're just sliding. You're simply, the first lick I showed you, you strike it and then slide up and back. Sorry. Got it? And then do exactly the same thing on the 3 and 5. Same thing as fourths. And that's the sound. Now what I also did, to take it apart, I also, where I hit the B string and I slid up. And then I picked up the high E on an upstroke. That's another kind of one of those classic Steve Cropper. Little Beaver, Steve Cropper, a lot of great guys. And you can do the same thing down here. So I'm going to take it out just to kind of wrap this thing up. And as I said, if you want to hit me up, jimmydillon.com. I got to do cover this in a lot of different ways, both in songs, J.J. Cale. I do Magnatone by J.J. Cale that utilizes this kind of technique. But I hope that this lesson could give you some ammo, you know, something to put in your quiver there that you can use in an R&B setting. And I think you'll have fun with it, and you can experiment up and down the neck. You know, you can do. You'll feel it when it sounds right. And here, I'm going to play you out now. And then at the end of this little thing I'm going to do some other licks that is kind of a teaser for what's to come. So see you down the road. Here we go.